Nigeria has the potential to feed itself and even be a next exporter of food items to other countries. Security agencies will cooperate or collaborate with the state governors to ensure that this ends.
On the news tonight, national food security. President Tinubu orders security agencies to clamp down on food hoarders. Most creation of
everybody here as a team, we're going to speed up our game and ensure that Nigerians are served.
Electricity distribution companies taxed to either perform or get marching order. Also tonight, federal lawmakers urge CBN to maintain below 1,000 naira dollar system exchange for rates for port authorities.
That the total revenue collection of 5 trillion 79 billion 69 million 866,085 naira 50 kobo be approved for 2024 financial year.
Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jumma Yusuf. Michael Olale will be joining us later tonight from Lagos, and Benny Adams is here in our Abuja studio with some business news in the course of tonight's news broadcast. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live via our website nta.ng/live and also on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. We'll begin with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, ahead of the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union. The summit for the year is focusing on the theme, Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, lifelong, quality and relevant learning in Africa. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelene, stated this, that the President is also expected to join other African leaders in high-level meetings on international reforms of the African Union, peace and security, specific thematic issues such as climate change, as well as modalities of participation and priorities of the continental body in the G20. The President will also, on the margins of the summit, attend an extraordinary summit of the authorities of heads of state and government of ECOWAS in his capacity as the chairman of the regional body. Earlier, before departing Abuja, the President directed security agencies to check the activities of those engaging in the hoarding of food items across the country as part of measures to reduce the hardship being faced by many Nigerian families. Now, this is coming after an emergency closed-door meeting with state governors at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports.
Arrival of the governors at the council chamber with speculations on expected positive outcome from the meeting. Then the president arrives. The closed-door meeting ended and journalists were briefed on the outcome of the meeting, which is expected to be a continuous move towards addressing the challenges confronting the nation.
The National Security Advisor, the Director General of the State Services, the Inspector General of Police have been directed to coordinate with the state governors to look at the issue of those hoarding commodities. At this point that the nation requires food to be brought out to the people so that we can control prices and put food on the table of most Nigerians, other commodity traders are busy hoarding these commodities so that Nigerians will suffer or they will make more money as a result. So the governors and Mr. President have taken this decision that security agencies will cooperate or collaborate with the state governors to ensure that this ends.
The government is also considering the possibility of creating state police.
Mr. President and the state governors have all agreed that at this point we are seeing significant improvement in security situation around the country. Of course, this is not to say that the security situation has been solved completely, but we have seen significant improvement. There is also a discussion around the issue of state police. The federal government and the state governments are mulling the possibility of setting up state police. Of course, this is still going to be further discussed. A lot of work has to be done in that direction, but both the federal government and the state governments are agreeing to the necessity of having state police.
On the price regulations of food items, the federal government says it is planning on investing more in agriculture to discourage food importation.
There will be no need for food importation at this point. Nigeria has the potential to feed itself and even be a next exporter of food items to other countries. And we do not also want to reverse some of the progress we have seen in terms of food production in this country. What we are seeing now is just a temporary difficulty that will soon go away.
The minister said a committee has been constituted to follow up on all issues discussed for the prosperity of Nigeria. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Now, we all know that there are different approaches being deployed by the federal and state authorities to address the challenge of increasing food prices in Nigeria, with a focus on curbing unethical practices such as hoarding of food items. Now, Nigeria is currently experiencing inflation, but the authorities, including the federal government and the subnationals, are insisting there is no need for food hoarding. Now let's bring in a seasoned farmer, Dr. Salamatu Garba, Country Project Director of the Women Farmers Advancement Network, to tell us what she thinks about the approaches by the federal government. You're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Yes, we all know about the action being taken by the federal government to sort of curb and arrest the rising food prices in the country. Now, in your opinion, what do you think should be done to sort of bring to a halt holding of food, as we all know that the prices of food in this country is way beyond, you know, the poor man's reach in these few days. Let's have your thoughts on the approaches by the federal government and the state government in trying to curb this illegality.
Thank you very much. Many approaches are taken to addressing food scarcity and hoarding and affordability of food itself. What we are experiencing now is like we're being hit by both non-availability of resources to get this food, and even the food is almost being said to be within or beyond the reach of the normal person in Nigeria. Now, hoarding of the food is wrong, like we know. They're trying to bring the food out. If they bring this food out and sell to the public, or are we distributing to the public? As soon as we finish that, let's say we go to the warehouses and bring out all the food as is being proposed. Once we sell that out or give that out to the public, what is the next step? Because this is the immediate need. This is a short-term approach to it. Immediately after that, what do we bring out tomorrow and next tomorrow to give to the populace? So we think there's supposed to be a strategy already on ground that will increase this food production, that as we're moving one out, the next batch is following. Look at the dry season farming, for instance. We're supposed to have continuously started producing, but most of the irrigation facilities are even down. So we cannot increase the food we're talking about. Cash squeeze is so hard. People don't even have the resources with them. So we have to bring our thoughts together. We have to make sure that we are addressing this issue holistically. One way, if we enforce this and empty the houses of the warehouses, and we distribute the food to the masses, for instance, then it will even create bigger problems in the market.
Yes, the president has been emphatic about the fact that we as Nigerians can produce the food that will feed the whole of Nigeria. And this hoarding of food, what is the danger in it? Because chemicals are used to preserve this food in the warehouses. When people get to buy it and get to eat it, we have a lot of problems. How health challenges like kidney disease is out there. What do we do?
Yeah, the issue of hoarding, like you said, using all forms of pesticide to preserve this is very dangerous. Even fruits now, you see the way they ripen them using all forms of chemicals, and this is creating ill health to the general populace. So we need to look at that, but at the same time, we're looking at even the preservation method. We need to improve the capacity of both the farmers, the populace, and so on. So much needs to be done. The warehouses where to put this food, the production, the packaging, the extension services, like we're trying to pursue a bill that will help increase or improve the capacity of agricultural extension workers, that will help the farmers to produce better and we have more food. The farmers are not even producing again as is desired because of security issues, increase in fertilizer rates, and so on, like we all know. And at harvest, a lot of it is even lost. The little that is there, if you hide it, it means that we're even trying to cause a situation where hunger will become something that we don't wish for in this country. So like you said, pesticide and bad ways of storing these items are harmful to the populace. So in a nutshell, it's wise to say that we should bring these things out. But then, what have we done as backup? This is our concern. Yes. We are working with 675,000 farmers, for instance. But in this reality, if they are to produce during dry season, where are the facilities? Take Benue State, for instance, where we work. We call it the food basket of Nigeria. But how much of irrigation facilities do they have? So if they produce the same amount of food they produce during rainy season, it means that we are pumping more food. If food is in abundance, this hoarding is not even going to be effective. But because of the scarcity, it means that the little we have packed them up, and people are working with money in their pocket. There's no food to buy.
Indeed.
Or you see food you cannot buy.
Indeed, Dr. Salamatu, we hope these actions will help us cross the Rubicon and scale the food crisis hurdle. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with Dr. Salamatu Garba, Country Project Director of the Women Farmers Advancement Network. Thank you so much for coming on Network News.
Thank you.
The pleasure in having you. Now, moving on to parliamentary matters, we hear the Senate has approved the 5.79 trillion naira revenue target of the Nigeria Customs Service for 2024. It also approved the sum of 706 billion naira as expenditure to cover capital overhead and personnel costs for the service for the same year. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us more.
Total revenue collection of 5,79,79,866,085 naira 50 kobo be approved for 2024 financial year. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The approval of the revenue target by the Senate is as recommended by the Joint Senate and House Committee on Customs. The capital component aims at addressing infrastructure deficit as the service moves to further improve performance by being technology friendly in operations.
The service is looking forward to the area of cargo tracking in collaboration with relevant government agencies, Shippers Council in particular, for effective monitoring of cargoes and vessels.
Meanwhile, Senate also confirms the appointment of Adama Oluwole Oladapo as Executive Director, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund Board. Bill seeking the establishment of Northwest Development Commission, sponsored by the Deputy President of the Senate, has passed second reading.
What the region requires now from the federal government is a support to develop its infrastructure and
educate its teeming youth. If the Northwest Development Commission is created, it is not going to affect whatever the state governments are doing. Instead, it's just going to complement.
Coupled with the devastating effect of armed banditry and destruction occasion, with unique peculiarities, I think it is necessary.
Bill to establish National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund to enhance skills acquisition for self-reliance, sponsored by Senator Yemi Adaramodu, also passed second reading.
I provide start-up capital for corps members to develop camps and NYC formations and all other facilities.
Senators also honored late Asagba of Asaba, Chike Edozie, and observed a minute silence, praying for the repose of his soul. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
On this point, we take a break. We'll be right back. Thanks for rejoining us. And still talking parliamentary matters, the House of Representatives is urging the Central Bank of Nigeria to maintain a system exchange rate for customs duty and excise below 1,000 naira per dollar to encourage patronage in the Nigerian ports. Also at the Thursday plenary, the Green Chamber called on the Chief of Army Staff and the Inspector General of Police to deploy more security personnel to some parts of Yobe State with increasing security concerns. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Adi reports.
The security concern is coming from the reports of displacement of many rural dwellers with agricultural activities largely paralyzed, leading to economic loss in Fika local government area of Yobe State.
The House notes the state of insecurity in Fika local government area and its environs has assumed a worrisome dimension, as a village called Gurjaje in Fika local government was razed down on Monday, 12th February 2024. We also urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, the Northeast Development Commission, and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to urgently provide relief materials to the affected communities of Gurjaje in Fika local government area, Yobe State.
And the need to rescue the Nigerian economy and restore investors' confidence was also brought to the fore on the floor of the Green Chamber.
Worried that due to the frequent custom exchange rate hikes, Nigerian importers are shifting towards ports in Tema, Ghana, Lomé, Togo, Cotonou, Benin Republic, causing a substantial 65% decrease in cargo importation and business activities at the Nigerian seaports.
Motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to committees on finance, banking and currency, and custom and excise for further legislative actions.
Other motions adopted by the House include that for the channeling of Wase Dam located in Binchibur to neighboring communities in Gezawa, Kano State, and the Manku Dam project in Plateau State, sponsored by Muhammad Churo Magarba and Ishaya David Lalu. The House also called for the review of the 2024 hard fares, now put at about 5 million naira.
My prayer here is urge the federal government of Nigeria to intervene by subsidizing the hajj fare to enable the intended pilgrims to participate in these religious rituals.
Out of the 13 bills presented before the House, 6 were stepped down for another legislative date. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And from the judiciary, the federal government has declared its intention to discontinue the treasonable felony case instituted against the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyole Sowore, and his co-defendant, Olawale Bakari, after 5 years of trial. This was disclosed in a notice of discontinuance at the instance of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, sent to the Federal High Court in Abuja. Fagbemi is exercising the power of nolli prosecute conferred on him by Section 174, subsection 1, subsection C of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The continuation of this matter under the law is, however, a discharge for Sowore and not an acquittal. Now, it is crunch time for electricity distribution companies in Nigeria as the federal government issues a fresh directive to operators to either step up their game in terms of operations and quality services or get out of the game entirely with their licenses revoked for underperformance. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabo said the era of underperformance in the sector is gone. Joshua Ojito reports.
Load rejections, lack of adherence to minimum remittance order, poor investment in distribution networks, and overbilling of unmetered customers, among others, are issues around the distribution value chain of the sector, and the Power Minister reads Riot Act to defaulting players.
People must not be made to buy transformers. The discos must sit up. Whoever that deserves license withdrawal, we will withdraw it. They must. There is no alternative to performance. Result is not equal to no result plus excuse. Result must be equal to results. So everybody here as a team, we are going to speed up our game and ensure that Nigerians are served. We are introducing stiff sanctions for non-performing discos without fear of favor.
While interventions by the federal government and development partners, Power Minister says, will be sustained. Adherence to market rules must not be compromised. In addressing challenges of liquidity crisis and revenue collection, plans are underway to unbundle distribution companies along states in line with the provision of the new electricity law. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Before his departure to the AU summit in Addis Ababa, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment and reappointment of the board chairpersons and chief executive officers of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Those appointed for the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, include Dr. Mansour Kabiru as board chairperson, and Professor Moji Adeye retains the position of chief executive officer. Professor Abba Zubairu was appointed as board chairperson for the National Blood Service Commission and Dr. Saleh Yuguda as chief executive officer. Key appointments were also made in the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, the Irua Specialist Teaching Hospital Irua, as well as for the Modibo Adama University Teaching Hospital Yola. Similarly, the President has approved the reconstitution of the executive management teams of parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. The institutions affected are the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Housing Authority. The appointment are said to reflect the President's belief in making landmark progress in closing Nigeria's housing deficit and in line with the historic approval of the establishment of building materials hubs across all 6 of the nation's geopolitical zones. The President expects the new appointees to hit the ground running in the delivery of affordable housing for millions of Nigerians in need, while providing millions of new job opportunities for Nigeria's talented youth population presently seeking for work. Moving on, the Eastern Ports Police Command Headquarters, Rivers State, has received their new Commissioner of Police, Moshood Jimo, who takes over from Yetunde Longe, who was recently promoted to Assistant Inspector General of Police. Nkiru Oyejisi reports that the handover ceremony took place at the Eastern Ports Police Command Headquarters, Rivers State.
The former Commissioner of Police, Eastern Ports Police Command, Yetunde Lodge, who was recently promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police, says more efforts are needed towards ensuring that crime at the seaports reduces to its barest minimum. She enjoined officers of the command to extend their support to the new CP and work in line with the mission and vision of the Inspector General of Police.
The involvement of the police at the seaport is enormous and kind of like an eye-opener for me to see that we need to put in more effort at the port, which I was able to do, deploy more men.
The new Commissioner of Police of the command, Moshood Jimo, warned criminals to stay clear of the seaport, adding that stiffer penalties await any defaulter.
Work with all the stakeholders at the port to ensure that we do our best. We won't let the flag down. We will ensure that the flag is flying, and we improve on all the crime prevention and control strategy that have been adopted by my predecessors.
The outgoing Commissioner of Police is expected to resume at the Force Headquarters as Assistant Inspector General of Police. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
The Northern Traditional Council has resolved to engage relevant stakeholders, including government at all levels, security agencies, traders and local communities, to address the escalating living cost and insecurity in the north. Chairman of the Northern Traditional Rulers Council and Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, stated this at the 6th edition of the Council's executive committee meeting in Kaduna. Mohammed Umar Anjiki reports.
The Northern Traditional Rulers, including the Sultan of Sokoto, the Emir of Kano, Katsina and Bauchi, converge at Arewa House, Kaduna, to address the pressing issues that threaten the well-being of their people in the region. After exchanging pleasantries, the leaders delve into discussions about the economic hardships faced by their communities and the challenges of insecurity in the north.
And we'll keep on urging our political leaders, whom we believe they will do something better, because we work with them. There's that communication between us and them, and we always try to reach out to them.
States in the north must forge strong partnerships on security and other developmental issues and concerns. Agriculture, power and infrastructure, especially roads, are critical areas where we must collaborate to revitalize our economies and address the challenges of poverty and insecurity.
The traditional rulers applauded the steps taken by the federal government to address the cost of essential goods across the country, but called for an urgent collaboration between the state governors, traders, and all stakeholders to alleviate the burden on their people. The meeting ended with renewed sense of hope and commitment to action by the traditional rulers to go back to their respective communities to implement some of the agreements reached during their deliberations. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
And now we join Michael Olale in Lagos for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jumai. Good to see you. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has disbursed 750 million naira trader money to 15,000 traders across the 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas in the state. SA1 Maka reports that this intervention by the Lagos State government will help to expand the businesses of the small-scale traders, thereby fostering economic growth in the state.
Excitement was the expression on the faces of selected traders across Lagos State as they gathered at Agidingbi in Ikeja to receive the sum of 50,000 naira each promised by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to boost their individual businesses. Falilat Oguntuade, a petty trader, is one of the many beneficiaries of the initiative. She says the money would be used judiciously to improve their livelihoods.
I have some money on my business before, but it's not enough for me. But now that I'll benefit that 50,000, by adding that money, my business will grow up more.
I'm very happy because it's not something that we ask of him. He is the one that planned it, that intends to do it for us, and he has done it, so we have to be grateful.
For Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos Market Trader Money Initiative is part of government's efforts towards ensuring sustainable livelihoods and wealth creation across the state.
I therefore want to employ all the beneficiaries of today to support, all the beneficiaries of today's support, to make the best and judicious use of these grants, that in a way it will contribute to the economic development of the state and also the economic empowerment of themselves and their families.
The Iyaloja of Lagos, Folashade Tinubu Ojo, expressed optimism that market men and women in Lagos State will continue to benefit from measures and strategies put in place by the Lagos State government to empower small-scale traders.
Oh, it might seem little to some people, but it's a lot, it's a whole lot. It can do a lot of things. You can use it to sell foodstuffs, you know. As long as you are able to manage yourself, You know, you cut your coat according to your fabrics. The money is okay.
The 750 million naira market trader money launched by the Lagos State government is to assist market men and women in the state to access funds to grow their businesses. In Lagos, S.A. Omomaka, NT News.
The Lagos State government has announced that it will prosecute any pedestrian caught crossing major highways in the state, particularly where pedestrian bridges are located. However, some residents have turned a deaf ear to this warning and are running across the carriageway during fast-moving vehicles. Correspondent Bolaji Akim went around some busy areas in Lagos and filed this report.
The Lagos State government constructed pedestrian bridges over key highways in the state to provide safe alternatives to cross carriageways and to reduce the number of casualties, particularly from hit and run accidents. Despite the number of deaths recorded on a daily basis and the recent pronouncement by the state government to prosecute those caught taking such risky options, some Lagos residents have closed their eyes to the dangers involved and still continue to cross the highways.
It's for me to be on the safe side now. It's dangerous to cross the highway because you can be hit by any coming vehicle.
I know it's not advisable to cross the road. It's not advisable. For them to save their life, it's not advisable.
Where government have provided alternative to cross by bridge is the best option. But people will not, they will take law into their hand, they resort to, they do what they like, impunity.
Various excuses ranging from hillheads and rush to get to destination on time are some of the reasons given by those who prefer to take the high risk of crossing the often busy highways.
One by step, you climb up. When you finish, when you have a tired or something, like you can hold that thing. Thank God, say, I climb it too. It's better to cross to that side and not hit person away.
We are so hurry. Before you climb around the press area, if it's crossing, you quickly cross and go where you are going to.
Not knowing that shorter way cause more havoc than longer way.
NTA News camera lens caught officials of the state's kick against indisciplined team at Onipan area of the state, led by Deputy Corps Marshal Oshifesa Olusegun, who declined to speak on camera. According to him, for now, what they are doing is to encourage pedestrians to use the bridge rather than crossing the highways. Arresting the faulters, he said, will however start anytime soon. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
That is it from here. The news will continue after this break. Please stay.
On your screen now is delayed visuals of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's arrival at the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union in Addis Ababa. While at the summit, President Tinubu will join other African leaders in high-level meetings on the state of the continent, as well as priorities of the continental body in the G20. He is also expected on the margins of the summit to attend an extraordinary summit of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS in his capacity as the chairman of the regional body. Let's now join Benny for more on business news. Hello, Benny. What's happening in the world of business?
A lot is happening. Thank you for joining us at this time. Now, Nigeria's annual inflation rate rose to 29.90% in January 2024 from 28.92% in December 2023. The National Bureau of Statistics says the January 2024 headline inflation rate showed an increase of 0.98% points when compared to the December 2023 headline inflation rate. On a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 8.08% points higher compared to the rate recorded in January 2023, which was 21.82%. And on month-to-month basis, the headline inflation rate in January 2024 was 2.64%, which was 0.35% higher than the rate recorded in December 2023. And according to the report, the food inflation rate in January 2024 quickened to 35.41% on a year-on-year basis, which was 11.10% points higher compared to the rate recorded in January 2023, which was 24.32%. And now a quick look at the energy market. Oil prices fell in Asian trade on Thursday, extending losses after a substantially bigger than expected build in the U.S. inventories pointed to well-supplied markets, while Japanese recession signals drove up concerns over slowing demand. And crude prices had lost $1 each on Wednesday after data showed U.S. oil inventories grew a staggering 12 million barrels in a week to February 9, much higher than expectations for a build of 3.3 million barrels. As for the Brent crude futures, its expiring on April sank 0.4% to $81.26 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 0.4% to $76.03 a barrel. And a quick look at the market, talking about shares in the market. Investors gained 329.25 billion naira as the all-share index advanced by 0.58%, the first time in a few weeks that we've experienced a decline. And market capitalization also recorded a gain of 329.25 billion naira. The total volume traded declined by 33.35%. to close at 284.49 million, valued at 6.91 billion naira, and traded in 8,168 deals. Guarantee was the most traded stock by volume and value, with 56.61 million and 2.22 billion units traded. At the end of the trading, we saw increase in 23 as gainers, 26 were losers, and 71 equities remained unchanged. Well, that is business news. Network News continues with Jomai.
Always nice doing business with you, Benny.
Sure.
The third matriculation ceremony of the Federal Polytechnic Naura, in the state, has reiterated the imperatives for self-reliant rather than dependency on white-collar jobs. Husseini Suleiman reports.
These are 625 admitted students for the 2023-2024 academic session. The aim is to prepare the mindset of the newly admitted student to work and inculcate a morally sound attitude in their conduct. Director of the Polytechnic, Professor Aliyu Mamman, charged the newly student on the core values of the institute and respect to the norms of the host community.
They are being asked to stay in the institution peacefully, and they conduct themselves very well for them to achieve their academic pursuit.
I'm feeling very happy to be here. It's a very great honor to be in this environment.
The twins was very good, excited. I'm so excited today to have my first matriculation in this school.
We're all happy to be here. We just wish to see the last day, the day we graduate.
The institution so far has 16 accredited courses by the National Board for Technical Education, a situation that facilitates the 2023-2024 academic session. In Daura, Hussein Suleiman, NTA News.
And talking politics, the governing All Progressive Congress has inaugurated 2 standing committees ahead of the party's primary scheduled to hold on the 17th of February 2024 ahead of the Edo governorship election. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
2 committees of the primary and appeal are expected to midwife the process of producing a standard bearer on the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC in the September 21 governorship race in Edo State. Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State and Sisi Oduwe are both chairmen of the new responsibilities and promised to deliver and make history in the forthcoming poll.
The host and members of our committee to work in harmony with the local leadership of the party in Edo State to also bring up a product that will look like our party and that will be easily sellable to the electorate.
All 12 aspirants have been screened successfully and have also received certificates of clearance. Therefore, the 12 of them will participate in the primary election.
And in particular in our party, to always constitute a body that will undertake an assignment so that at the end of it, we get a good result.
National chairman of the party, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, says the party will continue to embrace innovations that will further deepen internal democracy and fulfill the aspirations of its members. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
We'll take our last break. More when we return. Do stay. You're welcome back. Yobe State Judiciary has keyed into the justice reform system with acceleration of cases in courts as more than 600 cases were disposed in 2023 legal year. Chief Judge of Yobe State Justice Gumna Kashim Kaigama cited this as the 2023-2024 legal year, which is coming 20 years since it was observed in the state. Correspondent Adam Yusuf Ali reports.
The judiciary, being the third arm of government, is a democratic setting. It's also the last hope of the common man to seek justice. With disposal of more than 600 cases as of December 2023 by Yobe State, judiciary is a commitment aimed at ensuring acceleration of justice as contained in the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Presiding over the 2023-2024 legal year, the Chief Justice of Yobe State, Justice Gumna Kashim Kaigama, said with enhanced logistics and financial support, the judiciary in the states will do more in disposing cases in various courts.
It is imperative to commend the efforts of the state government in ensuring the financial independence of the judiciary since 2013, when it approved the grant of quarterly allocation of the High Court and the Sharia Court of Appeal, respectively.
I urge the judiciary to continue with such drives in our collective desire for quick transition of justice and bringing justice to the doorstep of the common man. I therefore wish to stress that we will continue to provide necessary support for a conducive working environment and give incentives for the judiciary to continue to uphold the rule of law.
The valedictory session was held to honor 3 chief judges and 1 High Court judge for their various contributions for strengthening the judiciary since the creation of Yobe State in 1991. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
And on safety on our road, the Co-Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Dauda Ali Biu, and the Executive Vice Chairman, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Dr. Adamu Abdullahi, have agreed to step up mass awareness campaign against abuse of safety and rights of commuters. This resolution was reached at the end of a courtesy visit by the Executive Vice Chairman, FCCPC, to the Co-Marshal earlier today at the Commission's national headquarters in Abuja. The FRSC Co-Marshal notes that the collaboration between the two agencies dates back to 2019 when both agencies pooled resources together towards changing the orientation of passengers on the need to know their rights. And Sport Update is next.
The Nigerian Super Eagles made their biggest jump in a long while in the FIFA rankings, moving 14 places to rank 28 in the world and 3rd in Africa. The Super Eagles are now just behind Morocco and Senegal. On the African continent, as Egypt and African Cup of Nations champions, Cote d'Ivoire completes the top 5 ranked nations in Africa. Still on football, Nigerians under-20 boys, known as the Flying Eagles, and the under-20 girls, the Falconets, are both set to begin camping in Abuja ahead of preparations for the 13th African Games scheduled to hold in Accra, Ghana next month. Head coach of the Flying Eagles, Isa Ladambozo, has invited a total of 30 players to camp, from which a final list will be drawn to fly Nigeria's flag at the men's football event. On its part, Falconet head coach Chris Musa Danjuma, who led the team to the 2022 World Cup quarterfinals to earn a ticket to this year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia, has called up 23 players. In another vein, the Nigerian Army has emerged champion of the first military and paramilitary judo championship held in Abuja. Minister of Sport Development John Enoch, while addressing participants at the end of the event, says he will work with military and paramilitary institutions to develop world-class athletes that will win laurels for the country.
Novel initiative to do this championship, it's actually something that I believe is going to, reignite and reinvigorate the interest of the military and the paramilitary. And I think that it's for me to use this opportunity to make a clarion call to other sporting federations.
And finally, to cricket, as 6 male and 6 female teams are currently battling for supremacy in the 5th edition of the PWC National Under-17 Cricket Championship holding at the twin over of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Secretary General of the Nigerian Cricket Federation, Sani Mohammed, in a press briefing ahead of the event said the aim of the championship is to scout for young talents in the sport.
We require the public to be aware on how we develop and how we scout for talent and to take them to stardom.
South is very strongly passed because of the structure, and we believe that other zones have actually done their homework, and we expect to see, a very exciting competition.
The 12 participating teams are drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. With Sports Update, Oche Ngbedi, NTA News.
And that's NTA Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf.